All right. As Claire leaves, we come on for episode number 6. A whole lot of beefing going on right now, and we just want to give our own perspective, our own vibes from the Sunday night vibe. My name is Darius. I'm joined by Nadia and soon to be Claire on the Sunday Night Podcast, episode 6. We're going to be talking about Katt Williams, Kanye West, a whole lot of beef going on, a whole lot of craziness. Some things that just don't need to be happening, but they happening. And man, we'll catch you up on, in case you've been living under a rock for the last week and a half of all the beef that's going down, all the reactions that have been going on, because there's been all kind of names from Tiffany Haddish to Kevin Hart pulled into this thing. I think Nadia said Lil Duval's got some, like, everybody's talking about this thing. It's a hot mess. Nadia, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, and for some who've forgotten the details, what is going down with Mr. Katt Williams? Because he's once again in the news.
All right, so here's a little recap for everybody who knows what's going on or doesn't know what's going on. Okay, so Mr. Katt Williams is in the mix again. So it was last Friday on a radio station called V103, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. They had a guest that was coming on. He was supposed to be doing a special, and I believe his name is Red. If y'all know him, he was on. I remember he's this comedian with a funny laugh. Like he has this goofy laugh, whatever. But he was on the show. Katt Williams wasn't supposed to be on the show. This is the thing about it. He wasn't supposed to be on the show. However, Wanda, she really wanted to work with him. So she went to the green room and asked him to come on the show. He kept on saying, "No, I'm not coming on the show." I'm not sure exactly how his tone was when he said, "No, I'm not coming on the show." But anyway, she just continuously kept on asking him. So, he told her, "No, I'm not coming on the show." So it was like, okay, well, you're still invited if you want to come on. Boom, boom, bow. So as they, are back on the air, doing their thing, talking about the show, Katt Williams joins in on the conversation. He comes in the studio, gets headphones set up, ready to go. And excuse this, I was actually listening to the conversation once again. But so jumps on the show. And start talking. So him and Wanda, talking and interacting a little bit. However, you could tell the tone in the air in that studio, it wasn't right. Now, I listened to Wanda and Frank Ski in the morning all the time when I was in Atlanta, like all the time. And I know how, sometimes, being a comedian with Wanda, being a comedian, I won't say that she's real, like, she jokes on everybody who comes on the show. However, as a comedian, you have to have that laughter within the show or whatever.
Right.
Like that. But this time it went a little too far, I guess. And I noticed something was going on before it escalated. Like it was like little, jabs here, not jabs, but little real small things here and there. However, the first joke that she said, he didn't take it as a joke. So you could tell because
what was that? You remember what that was?
No, I don't remember exactly what she
Okay.
said. I think it was about the cooking. He said, he know how to cook, and he cooked food for his children, and his children, one is a vegetarian, one don't eat this, and then one don't eat that, so he has to be very particular on the food that he makes. And then she was like, "Oh, okay, oh yeah, so you can cook, you can cook." "Oh yes, I can cook." It was like he was very defensive, and then he was like, "Well, what do
He
you
was
cook?"
stupid.
It was very stupid, but he was like, "Oh yeah, what do you cook?" So that's the first thing I noticed. Okay, wait a minute. I'm noticing he's not turning her remark into a joke. He's taking it a little bit too personal. Then he started talking about how much he got. Then he jumped on Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, basically saying Tiffany Haddish got where she was today by sleeping with white men and talking about Katt Williams, I'm sorry, Kevin Hart and his success and everything like that, and just basically like just dumping on all of them. And it just went to another level. And then I think when Wanda started to feel a certain way, then that's when it escalated and feelings was hurt. You could tell her feelings was hurt like real bad. She looked like she wanted to cry, but she was trying to like laugh it off to make it seem like it was like a joking, matter or whatever. But after that was on Friday. Come the weekend, she had a performance, and like I told you about the comedian who was in there, Red. He was
Red Grant.
supposed to be performing. Red Grant supposed to be performing out there as well. I'm at the Comedy Center in Atlanta, and the news that I have, I heard that, and you can see it on video. I'm not sure exactly how accurate the video is, but you could see that Wanda, her husband, was at the back door, and you could see Katt Williams walk up to the back door, exchange some words, and la 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 la. Katt Williams claims that her husband pulled out a gun. On the video, there was no gun present. It just looks like Katt Williams is coming up and exchanging words, and next thing you know, you see him dashing off into the darkness. So I'm not exactly how sure that is about him pulling out a gun, but still no. I don't think Katt Williams should have took it that far, showing up at her location and escalating it even more, sort of say, by asking her to come out to the back door. So now that was the weekend. Come Monday, she comes on the radio. It was her and Frank Ski. And this is when she starts to tell us that she felt attacked, excuse me. And just the calls and stuff that was coming in, you had mixed callers, people saying, Wanda, I felt like you started it, or I'm not sure why y'all acting like this. Y'all know how Katt Williams is and all this other stuff. And Wanda then tells Frank Ski, I felt that you should have jumped in to basically save me. I felt that you were the one who should have.
And Frank's the co-host with the show, right?
Frank Ski, the co-host. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Frank is the co-host. So yeah. So she, everybody's like, no, you can't blame Frank for not stepping in, because his reasoning for not stepping in is he's like, I see two comedians going back and forth. I don't know when it's too. I don't know when it's too far. And I'm thinking it's two comedians beef, going back and forth like how y'all usually do, but she still felt like, hey, you're the father of this house. You should have stepped in and said, okay, guys, cut. And then he
did do that, actually.
And he did. However, the argument started continuing. So he's like, okay, I can't lead a race if y'all still going at it. How am I supposed to, cut the break if y'all still going at it? So, I'm kind of mixed on what's going on, and how do y'all feel about it? Like,
okay. So that's a lot going on. For all those who are just jumping in, and we thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Give us a thumbs up and follow us on all social media platforms, SNV Podcast. We are a new and up and coming podcast, so we thank y'all for tuning in. So Nadia just gave you guys the recap of what happened between Katt Williams and Wanda, a smaller comedian in Atlanta who hosts a radio show. This happened past Friday. So I want to go back to what you said, where this all began. So this was Red's interview. Red was performing on Saturday, as well as Wanda, who is the radio host. Red was coming to promote his appearance. And as you said, Katt was in the green room. He was just coming to support his friend, wasn't scheduled to come on, but she coaxed them to come on. Red Grant also gave his account of what happened. Claire, did you see that that posting?
Oh yeah, I did actually. Red did a video a couple of days ago explaining the before, all of this happened on the radio show. And his account is he was there to do an interview. And then what happened was when Wanda saw that, and okay, so he's supposed to be doing this comedy tour, and Katt is, there to support him. Katt gave him a ride to the radio station, whatever. So Wanda was like, "Well, hey, Katt, let's come on our show or whatever." And he said, Rad said, by the way that Wanda was talking to Katt was like, like he was like kind of like a boy or whatever. And she
in the green room?
Yeah, before they came in on the show. So she kind of was already snarky or whatever, acting a little snarky with Red. And I mean with Katt. And so Red was just kind of like, well, shoot. By their exchange or the way she came at him was almost like, well, do they have some kind of history or whatever? That she automatically is acting kind of like that. So he was just saying, Katt said, no, I don't. This is Red's interview. I'm just here to support, my guy. But she just kept asking and begging him to come on. So eventually he ended up coming on. But the whole point is that she kind of came at him with a little attitude and kind of speaking down on him. And Ray was just like, what in the world is what's going on? That's some strange stuff. But whatever. So Katt's coming on there already, you don't know. Maybe he's thinking, all right, I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna get you too. I don't know. Who knows? But he came on the show and he came on. She asked him. He came on, but listen. I think her attitude was just so annoying because when he was giving when he was talking or whatever, and if you notice anyway, that's supposed to be Red's interview. The whole thing turned into Katt's interview.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking, so that's disrespectful anyway, because they're supposed to be interviewing Red. This is Red's comedy show or tour or whatever he's doing, not Katt. So, that's first and foremost. But whatever, she wanted to interview Katt. I guess she said, shoot, while I got him here, I'm just asking questions or whatever. But just even the way she just little things he would say, I think he was speaking a lot of truth or whatever. When he was talking about the industry or whatever, I wouldn't put it past whatever he's saying. Why? Okay, so why are you making that face? So what?
All right. Let's back up 1 second. Okay, we both, or not both, but all three of us have listened to the video and seen the video on multiple occasions. So we've heard various different sides outside of just the individuals in the room as well. So from where it stands, from all of that information, I'm gonna start with Nadia real quick. We'll just do this real quick, and then I'll get to what I'll talk about. Nadia, whose side are you on as far as fault for this beef that even blew up in the first place? Is it Wanda's fault? Did she start this, or did Katt Williams start this beef?
I don't know. I don't know who started it. I don't know, man. You always ask me these hard questions. Got me thinking. Let me think. Whose fault it is? Oh, man. I would probably say Katt.
You don't say Katt. Okay. Nadia, Claire?
I think Katt. And why do you think Katt is at fault?
Why do I think he's at fault? Because feeding off of your story and for what my story was, if his intentions was to go on the show to,
but I didn't say that was his intentions. I didn't say that was his intentions now.
No, I'm sorry. It just made it sound like he was like, oh, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get her.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe who knows?
Well,
but I didn't say
because I didn't see that in that interview with Red Grant, so I don't know what he said and why you felt like you said what you said, but from if I'm hearing, like if that was his intention, he like, no, I'm not gonna go on the show, and this type of energy was going on in the green room, and you decided to go ahead and still come out and having that same energy that was in the green room, you should have left it in the green room. And then as your boy is on doing his interview, whatever snide remarks you had, you should have kept that to yourself and let your boy have his time in his interview. That's why I was thinking it escalated when Katt Williams turned the joke that I'm sorry, when Katt Williams took a remark that Wanda said too personal. That's why I think it's his fault that it escalated to, got to where it was.
Okay. I agree with you. I think that's where it started. Claire, what's your opinion? Who's at fault for this weird drama between a comedian VJ host or DJ host and a rock star comedian?
Well, first of all, I don't even think it should even be a beef anyway. I don't even think it's that serious. All it was a roasting session. And if you're Katt, I feel like Wanda started it, and that's just that. Katt's a comedian, and Wanda's supposed to be a comedian. I don't know her stuff, so and Katt was. I mean, she was asking him questions, and he was answering it, but she was giving little like snarky little just remarks or whatever. And I mean, Katt never once came out his mouth to disrespect her, call her a B, call her out of her name. I'm saying call her out her name. He very nicely and politely roasted her, okay? And he did a good job, and it was funny. And I enjoyed it, okay?
Oh, wow.
What did they say? Don't start now, won't be done? All right. Okay, and that's just how it is.
Okay.
Drink that tea. So, Katt, nope. Wanda started that, and then to have the nerve for her husband to come in, and he did not pull out a gun. He actually lifted his shirt to indicate and to show that there was a gun right there, and that's why he ran off. And he also filed a report too. So that's a message.
Okay, we'll get to know that. We'll get to the aftermath. Okay, so I side with Wanda. All right, and I side with Wanda. This is why, because
oh god, y'all need to watch this thing again.
I've watched it, and I believe I know where she was coming from. So let me tell you why I side with Wanda. So I listened to Red Grant. He had a posting on social media where it was just him and the camera, and he went off for about 15 minutes giving his point of view. And from his point of view is how I get my perspective. And as you mentioned how Wanda went into the green room previously before the interview to say hello to everybody in there. And then also with the motive.
Can I stop you for a second? Can I stop you? Remember, he said Wanda told everybody hi except Katt Williams. Don't forget that part. Remember, that's what he said.
So
she's supposed to be a host, and she did not tell Katt Williams hello.
Okay, so
rate your guess, right? Or
sure.
Not really a guess, but
he wasn't a guest, but he was in the room regardless.
Yeah. Okay.
And he came into the room with two motives: one to greet her guest, and the other one was to get Katt Williams on the show. That was clearly a motive. She gave on Monday morning after she told her side of the story, and she did say that she was trying to get him on. So combining her words with Red Grant is how I get to my opinion. And Red Grant said that she was kind of talking down to Katt. From her words, she noticed that Katt was coming into the studio when she found out that morning, because it was a late addition, that he was even coming to the studio. She said that she'd never worked with Katt before, and her being a comedian, this is not really working. You're not like in the club doing sets together, but she had never interacted. The point that she was making.
Can you hear?
No.
With
you got
So Red, I'm having the internet popping up kind of funky. Okay, so excuse me. Wanda said that she had never interacted with Katt, with comedian. She wanted to interact with him in some way, some fashion. She knew that he was there. So she was coming in. She's kind of in awe. He's a legend. She admits he's a legend in the game of comedy. She's in comedy, nowhere near his level. So she goes in, she greets people, and from the description that Red gave, it sounded to me like she was like, "Oh boy, come on, stop playing, come on, get on this radio. Stop, come on, man, you know you want to get on the radio." She was kind of giving that kind of tone to me. That's the tone as how I was taking it. She was trying to play with him and kind of goad him to come on and be a part of the radio interview when he was not scheduled to be there. So she was kind of guilt him into it a little bit. And I know from experience, you guys know I have my own podcast, and I've spoken to hundreds of people, right? So I kind of know from her perspective of interacting. Not that they don't like Red, right? Not that, he's not a great person to talk to, but he was bait, right? So I've been there where I've had to interview people to get to another person. Mm-hmm. I've interviewed multiple people because I wanted to talk to this guy. I didn't really necessarily care. I didn't mind. In my case, it was wrestling. I don't know if you guys know Booker T. He's one of the most famous African-American wrestlers, right? Kind of stands out. I wanted to talk to that guy. Before I could talk to that guy, I had to talk to his students at his wrestling school. Now, if I named 20 of his students, you would not know one of them. But I had to sit there and talk to all of them. And I didn't mind it because that's what we did. We interviewed. But my point being is, I had a chance to speak to Booker T, a famous guy. He wrestled at WWE top of his level. Red is notable. He's got his credibility of all his own, right? No disrespecting Red, but Katt is at another level. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna do what you have to do to kind of get him into the studio. And so y'all mentioned there was a vibe. There was like a weird, funky vibe. There was no vibe at first. They were talking. They went to a break. They had all kind of conversations. But as Nadia said, when it went to the food, she asked him, "Can you cook?" And what she responded, "Of course I can cook. I'm a single dad and I've got 52 kids. I take care of my kids. They all have each and every different needs." But this is where it got weird.
52.
Something like that. It might be 50, 51. I don't know. All right. Details, smeetails, right? Let's not let that ruin a good story. So he said, "Yeah, I could cook." So as an interviewer, which he called her a crappy one, which, okay, we'll let that be for now. As an interviewer, did he lie?
No, I mean, Wanda's a good interviewer.
I can't tell on this independent.
Okay, I'm gonna sip on this because I already saw a bunch of other ones before, but
from years of listening to her, she's good.
Oh, okay.
She ain't a Hall of Famer. I could tell that from listening to her. But let's get back to the
No,
story.
she's not.
So she asked, "Can you cook?" He said yes. A logical follow-up question is, what can you cook? Let me know. What can you cook? And then she started listening. Do you cook ribs? Do you cook blah blah blah? Do you cook? She's throwing out all these items, and that's where he took offense.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I told you I could cook. Why are you doubting that I could cook? I don't need to prove to you that I could cook by listing a bunch of dishes."
He ain't yell like that. Don't exaggerate his
How did he
voice.
respond? He's responded with an attitude. She did not have an attitude up until that
Katt
point.
Williams do.
No, but Katt Williams,
yelling.
he was talking all that time. What was his response? He had a snooty response to her right there, and that's where everything went left.
Yep.
No, actually before that, when he was talking, because didn't he already bring up Tiffany Haddish before all of this and all of them, and she was kind of like, no,
that was after.
No,
there was a
and
the Kevin Hart thing.
Hannibal.
When he went on his rant, the food came first before he went on his rant about.
There was a snarky part. There was a snarky point right before it where it was kind of unnecessary.
No, he was talking about like the industry and stuff like that before.
No. Tiffany, you're absolutely right, because that's where he got snarky because she was talking about how good Girls Trip went, and he responded like she didn't write that.
Yeah, that's what. So the food thing came afterwards.
It came right after, but they kind of got back on. He was snarky real short, and then and then they got. I think they went to break. They went to break, came back.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was snarky, but he was snarky for a minute. And even then, it was unnecessary. He wasn't mean towards the host, but he was over talking her, and he was trying to.
No, he was talking, and she was kind of like saying, I guess he got certain things. She was like, when she would like interrupt or whatever while he was like, when he was talking about the industry and all of that stuff, and then she was like, "Oh, is that?" Like she was kind of like coming in. I guess that annoyed. I don't know. I guess that annoyed him. Whatever. I don't know.
Right, but it wasn't that. It was unnecessary. It wasn't. She wasn't. She like, if you're interviewing someone and you hear a point that they make before they rant and lose the subject that might be an interesting take, you want to kind of stop them. Yeah, you got to kind of stop them and say, "Well, what did you say there? Go ahead and elaborate on that point." So even if she jumped in, he should have been able to jump with her and continue on, and not just be like, "No, that's my train of thought. Stop."
And so maybe we don't know what's going on behind the scenes during the commercial breaks. We don't know what happened in the
but that was before the commercial break.
Yeah, we don't know. And what I'm saying is, we don't know like what was going on before they came on, that they probably was, kind of like not feeling each other, maybe. So
maybe, but they were holding it together during that conversation up until that point.
I thought,
and then,
but she got upset because he asked her what she cooked for her family, and she said broccoli, and she got mad because he said.
I don't think she got mad.
She got offended because he said, "Oh, broccoli." Well, you just basically put that in water.
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to be funny. He was attacking her.
So that wasn't funny.
It was a funny observation, but he didn't do it to be like to lighten the mood or lighten the room. It was a jab at her ability.
Do you watch Katt Williams stand up? I'm just trying to say, because he looked like the same Katt Williams in a stand up just like he was in the interview. The way he delivers his lines, and he's not the way he does it is not like nice and soft and sweet. That's just not Katt Williams. So
I understand.
I mean, he was talking about me, but if it was me, I would have laughed that crap off. If you're a comedian, you're supposed to be a comedian,
right?
Laugh that off. Who gives a crap? Like, it's not that serious. Sorry, I think this whole thing is just ridiculous. It's not that serious.
It's not that serious, but it becomes serious because there's a lot of different factors. So
it became
I agree.
So serious that a husband had to defend his wife and brought his gun out. That is how serious this was.
Well, right? No, I mean, think about it. If you carry a concealed weapon, you most of the time when you're out, you're gonna have that concealed weapon on you. It's not like he carried it out for this particular situation.
No, but he made sure to show it. A big, tall, 6 foot something man, and a little.
But he had other people with him. It wasn't just Katt Williams. It wasn't only Katt Williams with him. He had other people with him.
Yeah, but you had to show the gun. Like, when you show your gun, that does not mean, oh, hey, look, I have a gun. No, that's just showing, like, I'm ready to go off on you.
No, it's saying if it needs to get to this point, it will get to this point. So whatever you got going on and you bring into my wife, this is my wife, you need to take that on.
I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Yeah. Whose kids are those?
So yeah, I that's kids. Why I'm like, I totally get it. Where it just felt like
I don't feel like he should have. Okay, so basically, so you think that the roasting session was unnecessary?
The roasting session was unnecessary? Yeah, I think it was unnecessary because it should have been on Red Grant.
Okay, wait. So you think Katt was wrong for roasting her?
Yes, I think he was to blame for it all getting to this level. I think the focus should have been on Red Grant. It should have turned around.
Wait.
Somebody should have asked and been like, stopped it. And focus on Red Grant.
Well, no, what I'm asking is, because both of y'all on Wanda's side now. So I want y'all to put the spirit of Wanda on y'all. Mm-hmm. Take her spirit. You are Wanda right now because I'm Katt. You saying that Katt was wrong for roasting her the way he roasted her, because that's when her feelings got hurt. This whole thing is because her ego got touched in front of everybody, and it went viral. Now you think Katt? You think Katt started that roasting? Yes. At what point do you think Katt started when they started roasting?
I already said that. I said when it started about the cooking thing, you could tell that's when his remark started coming out, even with the whole broccoli thing. It just started coming out. I'm not saying that, I feel sorry for Wanda because he joked about her cooking. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's when it started. You can tell that there was something going on between them. Like, you knew when he said a remark, she was going to come back with something.
Okay, and after the broccoli thing, after that whole cooking thing, they weren't really saying too much until Wanda started talking about his prison record and him being in jail. She started off.
Yeah, that was her to him.
And he ignored, and he said, and he didn't go on her. He didn't say nothing he didn't start roasting.
He called her fat. That's why she said, you big. He said, you big. And she said, you big in prison. So he called her fat. And so she says, well, you in jail a lot. Now, let me say this, Claire, because I don't feel sorry for her because she's grown. She's a comedian. I listen to a lot of comedians in podcast world, Brittany Schaub and Joe Rogan, all these guys, and they say all the time when they see each other at the comedy club, it's not hello, it's what the frick are you wearing? you know, kind of that's how I am with the people that I associate with. Jokes. It's jokes all day, and that's it. You know, so I can relate in that passion, but it was a weird way for the platform was weird for it to be going off because it was an interview with Red, and then on Wanda's side, she wanted to interview and talk to Katt. It was not about being roasted. So he took the first he was salty about people being, you know, getting more fame and more success, which we'll touch on because there's a response to that. He was salty about that. Huh?
I don't think he was salty.
He was absolutely salty because
he went on a whole rant about it.
No,
he went on a rant about it, Claire.
No, because his whole point is saying his whole point was the stuff that they do or who they are. Like he doesn't have to go through that because the stuff that he does, he owns his own stuff. Like he
doesn't though. So we'll get to that. That was all a lie. That was all a lie. So
well, and then I'll say this because I don't really appreciate the fact that he did say Tiffany Haddish's husband was a white guy because that was misinformation too, by the way.
Again, everything he said in that part was he got called out by Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish on the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
So
okay, go ahead.
I don't feel bad of. I don't think it needed to be there. It wasn't the platform for it.
They didn't know he was going to be there. So,
what do you mean?
Remember, they didn't know he was going to.
Right. So, but I'm saying once you're there, it's not the platform to do a roast battle unless it was a willing participant. What happened was.
Man, come on, man.
No, stop. Listen. What happened was. She did not know how to handle herself. She was not at that level. She was a minor leaguer messing with a major leaguer in the regard to comedy roasting. So she kept going because there was nothing else. She had no defense mechanism. She couldn't do anything about it. She came back with one-liners. They were not as funny as Katt's because obviously she said it herself. She tells a different comedian. All comedians should be able to joke on one another like that. But there's levels to the game. She was not at that level. So she just kept continuing by force instead of sitting there and crying, which she probably felt like doing. She had to. She shouldn't have cried, but I'm saying that
when your feelings getting hurt and you want to defend yourself, but you cannot defend yourself, you're gonna want to cry, but you're not gonna do it in front of a group of men. You're not gonna do it.
Like Azalea Banks on Wildin' Out. Oh Lord, you could do it like her. No, she should have just when Frank said, "Well, all right," when he was trying to wrap it up, she should have just be quiet.
Claire. Everybody. No, listen. Everybody has. She felt bullied on her own show. You know how embarrassing that is to feel bullied? If you have ever been dealt with bullies and not know how to handle yourself, you don't necessarily know what to do. And I'm not saying Katt is a big bad bully here because you know you're grown, you're a comedian and all this. She could have called break like Frank, was it Frank, right, Nadia? Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Frank mentioned in their post wrap up of this situation, she had as much power as Frank to say to the producer, okay, we'll go into break, but her ego was hurt and she couldn't get out of it. She needed someone to, I always relate to what I know, mixed martial arts. If you're a fighter and you're in the fight and somebody is beating you down, most fighters do not say stop it themselves. Right. They're waiting for the ref to stop it. They need someone to come in and get them out of the situation because their pride won't let them stop the fight. She was that fighter getting beat up and she could not stop it. But let's go to what kind of was the pre-fight, which was the talking about Tiffany Haddish and these people who are popping up. So for those who couldn't catch what was going on, I'll bring you up to speed. So Wanda mentioned Tiffany Haddish and Girls Trip, right? The success. Katt Williams took kind of offense to that, in my opinion. He said, "What has she done to be known as such a success? She hasn't sold out any shows. She hasn't put on any hour-long specials. She didn't write her part in Girls Trip. She just merely acted." He said anybody who can read could have done that role. Okay, so with all that brought Kevin Hart into this, because Kevin Hart is now starring in Night School with Tiffany Haddish. Most of you guys know he gave her $300 when she was a struggling comedian and homeless, and now has brought her up. So Kevin Hart was mad. He was very, very mad about this, and couldn't quite figure out, why he was coming at Tiffany like this, right? So what he does is he comes to his defense on the Breakfast Club. He's real upset. He's really mad, and he starts breaking down everything Katt Williams said. Katt Williams said that he got a $2 million deal with Netflix because he had over 2 million tickets sold at his live shows. Because everybody knows about what's her name? Come on, somebody help me out. What's her name? Monique. Monique was mad about her money. So Katt Williams was like, "This is how you get onto Netflix and get the money. I had 2 million people come to my show, so they offered me $2 million. So Kevin Hart said, these are facts you can check, people. That is an outright lie. I am the highest selling comedian to date and have been for the past several years. Okay. And I've traveled all around the world. And I've sold 1.5 million. So Katt says he's done 2.2, 2.3. I've sold 1.5. And that is not how you get your Netflix deal. It's not about the tickets sold. They're not counting that. It's about your brand and your popularity. How do I know? Which he's breaking this because nobody else has talked about it, at least not that I saw. He got a deal for 2 specials also from Netflix for $20 million each. He was in there with the Dave Chappelle's and the Ellen. So he's speaking from his experience. So he says that Kevin Hart is the highest selling, which I believe because I've seen well, we've all seen him sell out the football stadium and all this. He tells everybody who listens he's a comedic rock star. And Katt Williams is saying that he's sold double what Kevin Hart is doing. And come on now, we ain't nobody believing that right now. So Kevin said Katt was where he was, but he messed up. Right? So he fell off, and now he's a little bit bitter that these people are there. So instead of using his brand to pull people up, now this is Kevin Hart, the promoter. He's patting himself on the back, right? He's saying, that's what I did. He didn't do this. But Katt Williams did take a bunch of people on the road, which even Kevin Hart acknowledged. He took Linnell and Ray Grant. He put them on his special. He had a whole special of them traveling. So Katt Williams did do that, so I'm not going to discredit him.
Yeah, he still does.
He still does it, right? That's why he's with Red right now. So we'll give him props for that. He's got his core group, and he also promotes. Kevin Hart just does it better. That's just the fact.
What, so the Plastic Cup Boys?
Yeah, the Plastic Cup Boys, and just bringing up people. He's got his Laugh Out Loud network, which he's bought up a bunch of people's specials, and he paid for Rel's special, Relevant. So Kevin Hart produced that. He said he was a fan of Rel and asked if he could produce it. He did that. So he does those kind of things. The other fact that he tried to claim is Katt Williams tried to claim is that he owns all the specials. And so he's got all the money from that. He said that one, I can't remember because Katt Williams said that he has the most specials out of anybody ever, live or dead. I haven't gone back to check. He said he has 9. So he says that's the most ever. I'll give that to him because I didn't fact check that. But he says that one of his specials did 23 million in sales. Now, Kevin Hart comes in. Kevin Hart's been chasing that GOAT status at comedy specials because Eddie Murphy holds the crown with 50 some odd million. And then Kevin Hart is next. His next 2 are like 30 something million. And he says, check the Forbes list. If he's making all this money, he's never on it. Go back to 2008 when he was popping. He was never on the Forbes list. So Kevin Hart is mad, and he is just chopping down everything he throws out. He's chopping out. He says, no, he doesn't own his special. He says that's a fact, and anybody can find out. I don't know how you go to the studios. I don't know how you find that out. So I'll just put that comment out there because that's what he said. And so far, Kevin Hart is throwing out facts that can be checked. And so he's just killing them. And he basically said, stop coming out at my girl. If you want to talk about me, that's fine. Go ahead. I can handle it. He says he's bulletproof and all this stuff. So he said basically Katt is upset. And this is where I agree with Kevin Hart again. He's upset that all these new people, although he said that Tiffany Haddish hasn't had a special, she had signed a special with Showtime. So that's already out there. And then it's not like she's been a nobody. She's been doing, Just for Laughs and Def Comedy and all these things. So that'll bring you up to speed to what's going on. So Kevin started off, he interrupted Wanda because there was a trigger. And that trigger is the same thing that, like, we see this a lot because Tiffany Haddish has blown up. She's not an overnight success, but she's a 15-year overnight success. And people are mad about that. People are also mad. I know, Claire, you know about these internet comedians. People don't like people who go in the tours. They do not like these people who go on Instagram and back in the day Vine and getting famous. But guess what? That's how it goes. Dims the brakes, right, Nia? So, like, what you gonna do? So what it is. Kevin Hart, Katt Williams is salty because he was the king, and he brags about having 15 felonies, as he says, but never said any prison time. I was like, what? I was like, there's no way that's true. And I just went through. Listen, if we ain't gonna give anything to Katt, he's got a phenomenal attorney team, a phenomenal one. You know how many times this dude's been on probation?
Yeah, man.
Up people, all this stuff, like, it's crazy.
That's probably why he ran as fast as he did from the dangle back door.
No. Forget the gun. I see the dude is 7 feet tall. Y'all saw how we got choked out by the teenager, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's why he ran. That man he didn't see no gun. He didn't see no gun. He just saw, homeboy. Somebody said that's the husband. Goodbye. They say he ran to a grocery store. They could not find him. He was ducking fried Cheetos, holding up the 7-Up bottle. I know he's short, right? But oh man, so that's the craziness. And there was an idea. So okay. Here's the confusion part. So he showed up. Wanda said that the reason why her and her husband came to the back door is because somebody told them that they have guests.
Right.
That's a real weird, fishy thing.
It is kind of, suspect.
You have guests all of a sudden? Did you not know? I know you from Atlanta and you probably got a lot of people. But you didn't know who was going to be asking to get through the back door of the comedy club. They're not coming through the front. They come through the secret not secret, but the back entrance. That's only for the people performing and their people.
Right.
So they all of a sudden, and the weird thing is people didn't know if it was a gun or not. The security camera was focusing on some guy who dropped a cell phone. So people were acting like a gun was dropped.
Right.
But that was small. The husband was by the door, and he kind of, as Claire said, just pulled up his waist, shirt off his waistband, which everybody knows what's up. That's code for I got a gun, what's up? And Katt wasn't feeling that. But Katt, do y'all see TMZ video with Katt after about the gun situation?
No, I don't think that's.
Okay. So it was after the Emmys, which we'll talk about. Hopefully y'all heard about the Emmys. This story is got so many layers. It's ridiculous. So Katt, after the Emmys, Katt's walking with his Emmy down the street. Him and a bodyguard are walking down the street, and a TMZ guy catches up with him, and he's kind of not talking. He's just like listening, and then we'll answer, because how y'all talk about bad interviewers. The TMZ interviewers are the worst interviewers.
They really do.
Just say they fishing with dumb stuff.
They're not. They're just being.
Yeah, but you selling tape, you want to get a good story. They're horrible at it. But
they're trying to get reactions and stuff.
They're trying to get reactions.
Yeah.
You should have a little bit of a knowledge, but these people are little people. But so he asked him about the gun. Katt Williams tries to play it off. What gun? If there was a gun, if someone was going to show you a gun, don't you think they would have done something? They said I ran. But if I ran and you still had a gun, if your intention was to shoot me, wouldn't you have done it? He didn't say those exact words, but that was the intent of his response. But no, if someone's pulling out their waistband, they're not trying to shoot you at that point. They're trying to let you know what's up. But he said there was no gun. He said if there was a gun, wouldn't there be a police report?
I thought
You thought he called the police and complained, right?
Yeah.
Well, I saw from a local Atlanta news station where this is the weird part. I don't understand this part. Maybe it was early, but they said the police responded and put out a statement saying they didn't have a third-party witness and they couldn't get their hands on the video, which is the video is out on the internet. I don't know if that was before it was out on the internet, but even so, if it got leaked to the internet, it wasn't that hard to get, right? So they said nothing was going to happen because there was no evidence, nobody was stepping forward. So, and plus, I mean, even from the footage, you couldn't see a gun. Maybe they can enhance it, whatever. But so that was
dark outside too. So
it was dark outside. It was obviously night. They're doing a comedy show, but so that's crazy. But so let's go back now. I'm gonna ask you this question. So during the interview, he said no disrespect to Tiffany Haddish, and then right before disrespecting her for being a nobody, not doing anything, not selling at any shows, right? So
I didn't take it like that.
How do you take it? He said no disrespect, but she hasn't done anything, and list all these things that she didn't do, but were a lie because she had done most of those things. So he didn't do any of his research.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they all know each other. Okay.
So he knows that she's done a special on Showtime. He knows everybody because he commented on Monique. I'm sure he knows that Tiffany Haddish was in that same conversation because she sold to Netflix a special. Mm-hmm. So you acting like she hasn't done anything.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm not saying that she didn't do anything, but I am saying, and so okay, because Red said that in his in his video he said that Katt and Tiffany like spoke to each other, like they talked, and so that's not true neither. What do you expect?
Listen, y'all got to know by now. I do my homework when it comes to the podcast.
I'm not
You
gonna
see
even
it
say
throughout the
anything.
topic? I'm gonna be honest.
Put on my headphones. Hold on.
So,
All right, I'm gonna be quiet.
okay, so let's speak on that. So, Red said they FaceTime after this all went down.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
they FaceTime, and then on Sunday or something, I don't know the timeline here, but sometime after that was the Emmys. Did y'all see the pictures of Katt Williams bowing down on knees and
Yeah, that was
all
weird.
that?
Yeah, that was
So
weird.
Tiffany also said, "Yep, we with you." Tiffany also was caught, just like how Katt Williams was caught after the Emmys, which, by the way, she won that Emmy for SNL, which again, Katt Williams tried to play her and said, "Oh, did she write all her material at SNL?" So he's throwing shade once again. She won an Emmy, just like he won an Emmy. This should have been the time where Kevin Hart. I'm taking this from Kevin Hart because this is what I appreciate about what Kevin Hart said. We complained and we protest about not seeing enough people of color on television. We got Katt Williams, who won an Emmy for his guest role in Atlanta. We should be talking about that. We saw Tiffany Haddish win an Emmy. Yeah, he was phenomenal in that role, but he didn't write his role.
Yeah, I know. That's what. Yeah, I was about to say.
So
that.
he's talking trash, but so he's talking on both sides now. So okay, so the Emmy happens. Another TMZ or same TMZ, whatever, caught up with Tiffany and said, how do you feel about Katt? What's going on? And she said, I have no problem with Katt. We all good. She's like, so he tried to keep going as they do for, as you said, a reaction. And she's like, yo, I told you, me and Katt cool. I don't have no problem with Katt. And then she came on Monday. Big Brother came on, and the story was flipped. She was like, she was upset. It was clearly she was upset. Now she is following Kevin Hart's footsteps in most of the ways where she's not going to say the wrong thing in public, right? So she said she was good, but in that interview on Breakfast Club, she clearly was not, because she
was mad.
She was mad, and she should have been, because everybody is digging at Tiffany Haddish now that
they keep coming up. Like,
that's just America, right? Like, and DJ MV said it best. We love you when you're on the up, but when you're there, then we don't like you. Hold on, guys. Go ahead and take over. So what y'all think about that?
Because I mean, with that, like, I was watching this the TMZ special about Tiffany Haddish or whatever like that, and I was trying to watch the interview on the Breakfast Club, and just to see how she was. But I'm looking at this TMZ thing where they asked her, how she feel, how's her emotions towards what happened with Katt Williams, and how her and Kevin Hart feel together as a united front, as if it's team Haddish and Kevin Hart against Katt Williams. Like, it's just they're a team that, you know what I'm saying? Right. But she's like, she says, I have nothing to say about it. And he's, still trying to dig in and get more information out of her. And this is her walking to her vehicle. Looks like she's coming from the airport or whatever. And he's trying to, like, get more information. And she's like, I have nothing to say about it, And then she goes, I just want to see, us
keep
ride.
Keep going.
Yeah. So I'm like, they just keep coming for her, like, I mean, I ain't the biggest, I mean, Tiffany Haddish, she's cool, her work. I mean, I ain't gonna be like, I don't know. To me, I don't know, but it's like, let her do her job. Let her win. She's winning right now. Men seem to feel some type of attack when us women, work harder than them and getting more, getting more money from it or success from it. And I think that's where Katt Williams was coming from when he had that interview with Wanda and Frank. Like, why is that any of your concern of who she slept with, who she with, and how she got to the top or whatever he wanted to say and all this other stuff. And Kevin Hart was basically like, man, you the one who ruined your success. You let the drugs get in the way. You keep talking about white man this, white man that, and how the industry failed you, but you failed yourself. And now you want to come on the radio station and just pour your heart out and brag about how much you make. Like this, it's like it would to me. Watching that whole interview, starting with the Wanda and Frank ski, watching it in the morning, I'm just looking at him like, why are you boasting about yourself? We are here to promote the comedy special with Red Grant.
Well, Kevin, he boasts on himself all the time, so people are going to do that. I just feel like, if you saw the Red Grant video, I agree with him when he says, listen, we all trying to come up or whatever, in the comedy world, it's always a competition. You know what I'm saying? It's always a competition, but at the same time, it's like, you don't have to pull each other down, pull each other down or whatever. I just feel like, I'm not mad at, how do I say this? I'm not mad at Katt Williams, the way he was acting and kind of not, well, I don't know, because Wanda was kind of being a little annoying. And I heard that she's usually like that towards her guests anyway. So maybe Katt already knew that. He was just like, listen, I don't have time for games. I don't know. But I do notice that Katt, he does like to
instigate.
He likes
As an instigate.
Yeah. No, he likes to always bring up other people, like little drama and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So sometimes that could be a little bit annoying or whatever, but I don't know. I just think that they all know each other. Is my thing too loud? They all know each other, so they should all be supporting. I think maybe just a little bit. Kevin might be a little. I'm not Kevin. Katt might be a little bitter. I don't know, but I just don't understand why I don't see why he should be, because he's like a great comedian. In my opinion, I think he's a better comedian than Kevin is. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I ain't saying not.
You don't. Yeah, I just think he focuses. I think he shouldn't really focus on the drama, because it does make it seem like he is bringing people down. You know what I mean? Instead of uplifting. Tiffany, I think she's. I don't know. When I was younger, when I say I was younger, because me and Tiffany probably the same age, but you know what I mean. Back then when she was first, I was like, oh yeah. But now, I would laugh. But now I'm just kind of okay, this whole stereotypical thing is just getting too old for me. As far as portrayal of Black women and stuff like that.
Right.
It's so old.
Hey, Kevin tried to touch on that, but he's saying that's just a role, but it's every role. Minus her part on Tracy Morgan's show. She doesn't play that role. She plays a housewife, and she's not funny. Sorry, but
I don't. It's
good for the role.
Right.
She's not supposed to. Well, I don't know. It's a comedy, so I don't know that she's not supposed to be funny. But it's a different funny, and she's not wild.
Yeah, I liked her on that actually.
Yeah, she was good.
Because
she wasn't hilarious, but she was good.
Buoyant. She wasn't oh my god, even in her commercials, her Oh, was that Groupon commercials?
Yes.
Well,
Tell
that's
me.
what sells, man.
God, pool boy. I'm like, calm down.
That's
See
what
that
sells.
you said that's what sells, but
that's what's getting the money in her
it
pockets. Those
But
type of roles.
but then that's when you have to question, well, who is this supposed to be funny for? Because I look at a lot of these comments online and stuff in my community or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really find that to be quite funny. Well,
Nope.
other people think it's funny, so it's
right.
But
Right.
but I just feel like with all of that, because I kind of wanted to like title this whole like episode like unnecessary beef. You know what I mean? Because it just was so the whole thing was just unnecessary. Now the roasting to me was classic. I'm sorry when the things Katt said was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I love it.
But listen,
and he wasn't yelling when he did it.
he wasn't yelling. It wasn't his tone. It was what he was saying. It was okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Red was talking about she might have had some preconceived beef with Katt, and she was coming in with that attitude. I watched an interview with her and a different radio host. I don't know who the dude was. It was not Frank. From 2015 or 16 when she had Faison Love on, and Faison Love was going in on Katt Williams and saying he wasn't this and he wasn't that, and talking about his sexual orientation, basically calling him gay and that he likes men.
Right.
And everybody knows it. She shut that down. So she was in a position where she was not feeling attacked, and she was able to do her role, which she could have let it go on if she wanted, but she said, "Okay, Faison, all right, enough. Okay, you doing the most. Okay, Faison, thank you for showing up," and she ended the interview in Katt's defense. So I don't know if there's several years between that, and that's another reason why I don't think she came in with any kind of beef towards Katt. She was playing with Katt in that green room. She was doing it in a weird, kiddie way. Instead of saying, "Man, I really love your work. Come on, let's do this. You don't have to say much. We'll talk to Red, and we'll go to you for a question or two. If you feel that you want to say anything, jump on." But she was saying it in a weird way, and it, and Katt could have taken it a weird. But Katt had listen. Katt has been in that position 1,000 times where he's been somewhere, somebody wants to talk to him, want to interview him. He should be able to pick those things up from experience, being in the game for so many years. And I know because like I said about myself, I know because I've dealt with a lot of people who've been interviewed over and over again, and I know how they talk to me and how they're able to slide on. If they don't want to do an interview, how they just slide on through, right? Some are upfront. Some will ask to be paid. Some will say no. Some will say yes. Some will say I don't know. Some will say talk to my PR guy. There's like different variations to answering and dealing with the question. But at the end of the day, the individual knows what I'm trying to get out of them. When I was going back to, when I'm going back to Booker T, I asked for Booker T first, could not get Booker T. I went and said, "Okay, how about my student? How about your student?" That they knew I was trying to talk to Booker T and not the 50 other guys. And so when he came on, he probably reluctantly came on. But that's part of the game. That's part of the game. You've been there. So you say it's unnecessary beef. It was definitely unnecessary. But here's the thing. Katt Williams, I'm sorry, was fake. He was so fake. He was fake about all the fake numbers he was given. He was fake saying that he had a whole lot of respect, but was given some side trash to Tiffany. He was fake when he posed with Tiffany afterwards, after the Emmys, because it was clear that he wanted that to get out, that they were all good. They have made up when clearly that is not the case. And maybe that could be a one-way street. Maybe he was good, but Tiffany, you can go ahead and talk trash about me all you want. That's fine. I'll forgive, but I won't forget. So maybe that's how it rolls too. But
that was kind of weird. I'm still weirded out by that.
Weird about what?
Him bowing down to her. That's just
it was
too much.
Listen, it was PR. It was PR.
Yeah, I know. It was just I don't know. That was weird.
It was a whole bunch of shenanigans. So that was so crazy, but it's all unnecessary. So pulling out a gun, and then now there's the ripple effects are Kevin Hart's upset, Tiffany Haddish is upset. He went after. Oh, let me ask you this. He also said the only reason why some of these black comedians are popping is because they're ugly. He says they are popping. Now, question. Are they popping now because they're ugly, or when he was popping, was it because he was ugly?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
No, yeah, it's true. And he knows it.
Or that's a new thing that they like ugly people now? Like, okay, I have to ask y'all. Okay, because I don't know if they look. Tiffany Haddish is not an ugly person, right? But Kevin Hart, is that an ugly person? I mean, he's in shape. He does the fitness. He's running. Is Kevin Hart ugly?
I mean, he's not a go-to. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I mean,
I don't know. I thought he was a decent man, decent-looking man.
Yeah. Kevin Hart is not ugly. No.
I mean, okay, because what Katt is basically look, like he's not a Morris Chestnut or Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? I think Katt's point was that these male celebrities, he's saying them, not them, but them, the elites, they're not gonna put out really great looking, fine, handsome black man as like your go-to star. Like Kevin's doing everything. Kevin's in everything. But like, can you pick out a black male like star that's doing everything like that? Women are gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta be with him. Besides Denzel Washington, because they only do it in a little pool. Like when you have your counterparts, your Caucasian people, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them that's shining and stuff like that. That they're going to be the ones that be like, oh my God, he's so like hot.
Yeah, but it's always been the most attractive. It hasn't been a lot of black actors, but you mentioned Morris Chestnut and the Tay Diggs, right? But you're talking about two different things though, because black people are just now getting in position where they can hire other black people and get in. But as far as the top of where black people have been able to get, it has not been ugly people. I mean, Morris Chestnut, who are all the go-to? Tay Diggs, he's not an ugly person, right?
But he's saying people who are like popping, who are getting everything. Katt is. You're seeing Lil Rel. Well, he's not Lil Rel anymore.
He's not in everything.
Hannibal is in everything now.
No, Hannibal hasn't even started a movie yet. He's only had side roles. He's just now kind of getting. He got a lot of attention. And he's kind of getting there. So he was just saying that anybody who's popular is ugly, which was a silly, juvenile, makes no sense comment, especially if you want to ask them, was that the case when you were popping 7 years ago? So he was just trying to take shots. Like you say unnecessary beef, it's unnecessary shot, unnecessary comment. I think a lot of his beef is people he's put in a lot of time to work, because that's what he said. He said, I have 42 women who have more experience than Tiffany Haddish. His thing is with the experience, but it's all about timing is what it is. I mean, Tiffany Haddish has had she's been doing it for 10, 15 years herself. And she just has timing. It's connections. It's who you know. She met Kevin Hart and got, he's helped her out. He put her on, she was on the Wayans, Marlon Wayans comedy show. Wasn't she on, I forget the name of that show, but it was with Vine people, people on Instagram, people on YouTube that were popping. So I think she was on that.
That Marlon show?
Yeah, Marlon.
Yeah, I can't remember. I forget. Comedy competition.
It was some kind of comedy. But the point is, he's mad because these people who have worked so hard, and it's kind of like, it's the same, even though he put down Monique, he has the same gripe as her. They've been doing this forever, and they don't have retire money yet. And we see these new people come in, and they're taking over. They're seen a lot. Guess what? You know why? Because a lot of them are connecting and they're working together. Gerard Carmichael and Lil Rel are working together. They keep doing projects together. You see Kevin Hart and The Rock. They're pairing together and doing all these different movies, shows.
On. I think.
Huh?
I said, yeah, they're putting them on. I think, come on, you do have to agree that sometimes, a lot of times, Hollywood does throw these people, put these people down our throats, in our faces all the time, nonstop, over and over and over again.
But they're going with who's hot. That's what it is.
Hot. Is that what it is? Are they hot?
It goes together.
Or making them
together.
hot? I'm sorry.
It goes together. It's paired together. You see them all the time. So you see them all the time. They must be popular, but they're pulling them in because they're selling and doing a lot of big things. Girls Trip was a major. It was the greatest movie ever as far as sales for a female black cast. It was the greatest movie ever to date for all female black cast. So you're going to start picking and choosing and peeling people out of that. Who was the person? Jada was good. Everybody was good in that, but
Tiffany Haddish, because it was
right. But she drew the attention.
Of course,
right. It's not your cup of tea.
She's supposed to.
Well, yeah, because the only thing about, if you look at it, the only relatable character in that movie was basically Tiffany Haddish. The relatable person that anybody loved, they could be from black and white or whatever type of culture, it's going to be Tiffany Haddish. Queen Latifah, she did her thing. Regina Hall did her thing. Jada did her thing too. But Tiffany was the comic relief in that show. That's just point blank, and that's why she got as high as she did. The recognition in that movie was basically all about Tiffany. Mm-hmm. Point blank. I'm sorry, people in the crowd, in the audience right now, may be yelling. I don't know, but I'm sorry. I think if Tiffany character wasn't in there, it'd been like a regular mediocre black. I'm sorry, movie that'll say, okay, this guy cheats on his wife. Okay. The two black women they're in an argument, fighting how they always want to portray us as anyway. To me, it just,
Yeah, they like to portray us, but then at the same time, they also had Tiffany Haddish acting like a.
They did, and that's to them. That's what sells when it comes to a black character. That's the role that they always offer us black women is the loud ghetto black woman.
Right.
Doesn't make it right, but it makes money.
It's not right, but it is.
Here's the thing.
It makes money.
Here's the thing.
Right.
And you know what the responsibility now Tiffany has because movies. She said on Breakfast Club she's producing something that she's in. So now it's up to her to change that narrative.
Yes.
She can now dictate that. She, whether just like Tyler Perry he could have at any point change the course where he is kind of pictured the black community as such. The men are garbage. The women are always, struggling, and he could switch that narrative. And I haven't been paying attention enough. I know he's got a new movie out with who? Tiffany Haddish, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's that same.
Yes.
And I put Tiffany Radish. I put in the comments. We have a Para L. Hopefully I don't butcher that. Jumped in. I put Tiffany Radish in the comments. I meant Tiffany Haddish.
No, don't do that. But no. She's still the same.
But yeah.
It's just the same character. It's the same character.
She plays the same character. Everything, but it is up to her.
It's
Kevin
up
Hart.
to her.
The comment.
You say it's up to her, but it's not up to her. That's just not.
It's not up to a degree. Up to a point. Up to a point. But she is now producing her own movie, so now she has the option to continue and look at her paychecks doing the ratchet scene, or she can go a different route and see if she can venture. It's up to her. You can roll your eyes, but
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Just like Tyler Perry.
Maybe not.
You said it's up to him, but it's still the same thing with Tyler Perry. Only
right.
one movie, two movies. Good. I said Good Daddy, Good Deeds, and Daddy. Help me out.
Daddy's Girls.
Daddy's Girls, and
that was still the same thing. Daddy's Girls.
Yeah. But I mean, exactly. You're right. But he's still in that movie. The main character was a dad who was trying to, do right by his kid. It's still a little. That was it. And then was it Good Deeds? I said that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No Good Deeds.
No Good Deeds. That's what. I get that confused with another Deeds movie with Adam Sandler. But anyways, that movie, right? It was just those two. But anyways, the point is, we'll see. Time will tell. How about we say that, right?
Yeah, and it's Good Deeds.
We'll be hopeful. But I don't know. Because she doesn't control anything. He that controls whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Will make that
I agree with that.
She doesn't control nothing. So she going to keep being that character.
It's just like Flo.
I mean, she
might. Is she, by the way?
That's.
Huh?
What happened?
What's that? My internet was going slow. I couldn't hear what you said.
I said it's just like Flo from Progressive. She played this character for so long, and so she can try to sneak on out of this character. They decided to come up with this new guy. What's his name? Jimmy, who's kind of taking over the spotlight now. So she can try to sneak out. She's trying to sneak out.
She might be pregnant.
I don't know what she is, but I guarantee that's a way of her trying to get out of the spotlight so she can focus on other things. And I think it took a long time for her to get out that role.
Or they're probably like, okay, Flo, we've had enough. You've been on here for 10 years. Next.
Mm-hmm. So, with Tiffany, she has an opportunity to go ahead and show, and show us that, hey, I can offer more than this ghetto loud black woman.
I'm telling
Here's
you.
my chance to do
I think she did.
And if she does do it, she'll see.
That's a lie. Look.
Huh?
She is doing it. Because she mentioned Kevin Hart had her roll off her upcoming project. Right. And she's Secret Life of Pets 2, which is a kid's movie. And she may have that same role as a character, as a cartoon. I don't know. But she's in The Kitchen with Melissa McCarthy, which is a crime drama about New York gangsters in Hell's Kitchen in the 70s. And that is looking like a serious role. So I don't think she will be doing her clapbacks and, waving her hand.
Because we can have the opportunity now to see what she got to offer as a drama, like somebody who can do drama.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for that.
I think she could because
she played in this movie a long time ago. I can't remember the name of the movie, but she was the friend of someone. I can't remember, but she did a good job with playing a serious role.
Yeah, I think she could because of that. Her and Tracy Morgan, when she was in that, like I liked her in that. You know what I mean? I mean, there's little snippets where she would get a little, you know, like ready to fight or whatever. But I think she could play. I think she could play a serious role.
So, all that to say, Kevin Hart was upset because his person was attacked, his friend was attacked, but also he made. This is where Claire, you say unnecessary beef. His point also is, why are we doing this? Why are we tearing our people down? We talk about how we need people in roles and bigger roles, and now again, you're in those roles, but the roles you're playing aren't shedding us in the best light. But his overall point is, we're here. We are growing now. He talks about how he is now producing his first movie through his own production company. So he's a partner, and he's patting himself on the back, but he's saying that he is now in a place where he is choosing who he works with and making a bigger platform for other Black actors and actresses. Why are we going this petty route and pulling each other down? So I agree with him fully with that. The clapbacks were they were hilarious, but in that he definitely was, he just trashed like all the up and coming stars, that we should be elevating and appreciate. We should appreciate him for his awesome role in Atlanta. That guest starring role in Atlanta was hilarious. It was funny. So lots of great stuff there. Man, I don't know if y'all want to call it a night or if y'all want to talk into Kanye West. I know we've been battling out the long night. I'll leave that up to you. Y'all want to save it for another time, or y'all want to jump into it real quick?
If you want to, we could do it real quick. Since we already kind of.
Okay, so all right, so on the same lines of, can't we all just get along? Can't we elevate each other? Kanye West is having a problem with everybody. I said it's Kanye West versus the world, because he is mad. So Kanye West felt that he could not call certain individuals that he has a problem with. He called out Nick Cannon, he called out Drake, and he called out Tyson Beckford. And I think it was an Instagram post where he basically said, "Keep my wife out your mouth." Hold on. He said,
you said keep my wife's mouth off of y'all. Wait, what did you say?
Okay, hold on, rewind. Don't talk about my wife, man. That's what he was trying to say. Kanye West, he was going on a rant.
But he did say, "Keep my wife out your mouth."
Yeah, he did say that. So okay.
He should have told his wife that.
Easy.
Yeah,
easy.
right.
I'm just wondering. I don't know.
Okay. So let me catch you up who haven't heard his rant. So Kanye West was walking down the city filming this open air laundry. He said Drake, he's mad at Drake because Drake thinks he's the one that leaked everything about this hidden son to Pusha T. He said, "I didn't have nothing to do with that." And then you went ahead and made a song about Kiki, "Do You Love Me?" which everybody is saying is
Kim Kardashian.
How?
KK. Kiki starts with K.
KK.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So, and people are asking, and this is why Kanye's mad. He's not mad about that, but he's mad because people are asking Drake about it, and he hasn't set the record straight and said, "No, this ain't got nothing to do about it." He says, "You wouldn't feel it if I made a song about Riri, Do You Love Me?" AKA Rihanna, Do You Love Me? So he's mad about Drake. So he said, "Hey, set the record straight." All right. Also goes on to Nick Cannon. He said, "Hey, Nick Cannon, you need to keep my wife out your mouth." Because he was taught, I guess, in an interview, people were asking about the relationship, and I guess they got the idea somehow about the conversation that Nick Cannon slept with Kim. Kanye West said, "Hey, y'all went on some dates. It wasn't much of a thing, but I'm married now. I'm happy. Don't disrupt my marriage by having people think you slept with her." Okay. And then Tyson was along the same thing, right? So he's saying, "I can't call you guys, but he wants you to know it's upset his heart and his soul that y'all talking about him like this. He's in love with his wife." He said, "I love my wife." And he's moving back to Chicago. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but all this to say, "I love my wife. Y'all talking about how y'all slept with my wife."
Oh, Lord.
Is he wrong? Nick Cannon responded with his own thing. He said, "Hey, NBC couldn't tell me what not to say. All these people can't tell me what to say. You can't tell me what to say. They asked me a question. I'm going to answer it however I feel. If you have a problem, you can call me." So we got a little bit of a weird, as Claire says, unnecessary beef. Kanye West, is he wrong for going on video and calling everybody out, saying, "Hey, stop saying y'all slept with my wife, man"?
First of all, listening to his rant was so confusing. I was like, you're giving me a headache, Kanye, because you're talking about this, and then you're going to this, and then you're going.
His soul is hurt.
Huh? His soul is hurt, and then he's like, I mean, if I was on this I'm not on the medication right now, and all this stuff. I'm just like, are you trolling us right now? Like, you're just talking just to be talking right now. Sometimes I feel like that with Kanye, but my thing is this. Listen, Kanye, you're married someone who been with everybody. Hello, that's on you. You married her, and now your whole conscience is like, oh my God, I can't take this. You got your head going this way, that way. You're turning, looking in the bag, wondering, well, did she mess with him, or did she mess with her, or how does he feel when there's Nick Cannon in the room, or Ray J? Because he never even did he bring up Ray J's name? He didn't bring up Ray J's name. Everybody, like, is he wondering, like, he probably like, shoot, yeah, did you mess with him too? Or shoot, did y'all mess with each other? I bet you he be thinking that all the time. Yeah. That's on him for marrying her. That's his fault. And I'm supposed to feel bad.
Also, one of the lines in Kanye's song is, "My girl got famous from her home video." So like, come on,
right?
I mean, what do you want to say, man?
Anything dealing with the Kardashians, I don't feel sorry for at all.
Nah,
I don't.
Nah.
Like, I don't feel sorry for Kanye for like, next. Like,
okay, but
like,
okay, who you got with, but I mean, it's been some years now. They've been together. They got a bunch of kids. Like, is it necessary to go ahead and bring up this man's relationship and everything like that? Past relationships.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kanye is just, he trolling me now. He's starting to troll me. That's what he's doing. That's what I think. He just want to talk just to talk.
That's why I think it's just all his head. He's getting too paranoid.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think he might just be. I think he really might be paranoid because, like, I don't know how men think. Like, if you're getting with somebody that is known for being around the town, the state country fair, or whatever, and I mean, I don't know. Do men think like, okay, so has she been with this one? I know nobody ever said anything, but is there a possibility that she's been with him or him or him or him or him or her or him? Like,
that girl has been around.
I don't know. I'm asking you, Darius. You're the guy.
That's a tough one. I mean, you know that she slept with everybody. But at the same time, it's hard because, I mean, okay, we assume that she is a reformed, whatever she was, she's reformed and she has moved on, right? Like, I mean, how long? Listen, there's
see, you can't even say anything. There's no answer.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Listen, you know how they say in church, right? Like, they just gonna, if you get saved, the people are only gonna know you from your past history. They're not gonna know you from your new saved life, right? Something like that. So they only gonna talk about what they know. They don't know the new Kim, where she may be still doing some things that I wouldn't, I can't have my wife doing.
Who's the new Kim?
But maybe she's not sleeping around. So let's take in that segment block right there, not the risque photos that she does.
Who's the new Kim? Who's the new Kim? Who is the new Kim?
We don't know. That's what
I'm saying she ain't got as far as we know, she ain't got a bunch of men that she's with.
Yeah. We don't know what the new Kim is. All we know is the slutty, nasty gutter rat that she was made popular for.
Okay.
We don't know the new Kim. So we don't know
we're not here.
Huh?
We're not hearing her with a bunch of men though. We just know that she went to Kanye and they got 2, 3, 4 kids together. Mm-hmm. And that's the Kim that's projected into the world right now. We don't know that we don't hear her sleeping with Nick, bringing back a fling with Nick or Ray J or a new guy. So that's what he's saying. He's saying, yeah, that's in the past because those things tear at my relationship with my wife, is what he's saying.
You mean to tell me?
Leave it alone.
So you telling me? You telling me? Oh, y'all bringing up the past. That's gonna mess up my relationship with my wife. No, them bringing up the past is making you even more paranoid, sir. That's probably what that is.
Yeah,
okay. But he's saying it's not necessary. That's old news. That's what he's saying. It's not necessary.
But first of all, he's so paranoid. Who's this? How do we know he's talking about Kim Kardashian in that Kiki song? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Do we know?
Because no, he's saying that everybody is bringing it up to Drake, and Drake did not. He's letting it live on. He's fueling the fire by not saying anything.
Oh.
So he's like, I mean, if it's
because Drake don't feel like talking. I mean, Drake don't like. We don't have to do. I have to address everything? Like maybe Drake don't feel like addressing that. Who cares?
No, because this goes back to beef that Drake is upset with Kanye for getting Mystery Son leaked. He's blaming Kanye. So don't be bitter about what happened between you and Pusha T. I have nothing to do with that. So why are you bringing it in by saying Kiki and trying to bring me into your beef with Pusha T? Leave me out of it. And you know you didn't sleep with my wife, so go ahead and say that. So, I mean, I can't blame him for that. So, but he's sensitive. He's sensitive. He knows he's sensitive. He says he's all up in his feelings. He is all up in his feelings. Yeah. So.
Ew. I hate it when he was like, for right now, I'm out of the sunken place for right now. I hated that crap. Because that just made me feel like he was really trolling me now. Like, now you're trolling us and you're reading the comments online. Because you know how we say he's like, he's in the sunken place or whatever. So I was just like, really, Kanye? Do you remember that part? I was like, oh my gosh, seriously? Like, calm down. And when you bring up the whole new Kim Kardashian, it's kind of making me feel like, are they trying to make a new Kim Kardashian? Because you know how she's involved with this whole going to Trump for the like prison reform, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you see Kim doing that, prison reform, but like trying to get the I think she's trying to get somebody else.
Free wrongly convicted people.
Yeah, wrongly convicted prison reform. Sorry, wrong one. She did that with the last person. Now she's doing it again, like going to Trump to get somebody else. So I'm wondering they're just trying to get her to start, like, this is a PR thing for her to be in like a good light, just like with Angelina Jolie, you know, with the whole, you remember how Angelina Jolie was? Like, she was always in the crazy, right? But now she's like Mother Teresa now and going to Africa.
But listen, you could be
just like
things.
Madonna and everybody, huh?
You could be both. You could have been a hoe for 30 years and then go ahead and reform, and you're trying to be a civil activist. You could be both things.
A civilized hoe?
No, man. No, man. No, man. She could have been a hoe, and now she's a civil activist. She could transform. You don't listen. As humans, we change. We evolve. We're not supposed to be the same person we were. She's not supposed to be a 80-year hoe. Who wants an 80-year hoe? You know? Well, no, he's gonna go for. Never mind. But you got to change. You can't, especially in her line of business. She has to change. She has to evolve. It's just natural to do so. So maybe she is the new Kiki. Oh no, she's not Kiki. Sorry, the new Kim Kardashian. And she's changed. And she's got kids now.
She's got kids.
I don't know.
What you say?
Kids, man. Is my internet feed that bad? Kids,
yeah,
man.
It is. But I mean, so what if you have kids? Just because you have kids don't mean you change or you're somebody new or whatever at all. You know what I mean?
Some people do. Some people all of a sudden.
I know. Some people, but not all people.
Right.
I'm
not saying that's the reason.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. Well, it just looks like Kanye is into that kind of woman anyway. So, and those type. What was his first? Who was his girl? Like he brought on
Amber Rose.
The one who said, who's like not black because whatever, but she's whatever. That girl. So he's into that kind of stuff. So I guess if I was him, I'd be paranoid too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, let's change.
You think she'll move to Chicago?
Heck.
It's cold in Chicago. Ain't no paparazzis in Chicago, man. But
yeah,
and,
it's cold in Chicago, and it'll be very hard to wear the outfits that she wears, bare, butt naked in Chicago, that just might not work out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
listen, that's just for a photo shoot, anyways. Really, Claire. Let's not get there. She's just doing it, getting the pictures on Instagram, and then changing it into something decent. But
oh, what you mean, like photoshopping and filling in little dimples and stuff?
no, no. I'm
Smoothing
not
out.
commenting on that. I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to attack Kanye's spirit. You're not going to have me attack his spirit and get up on his feelings. I'm going to take Kanye's side. He's sensitive. He's a sensitive man. He's trying to protect his wife and his family and his reputation. Salute you. Kudos to you, my brother. Keep doing you. Just not with the political stuff. We'll say that for a different time, different place. Man.
I think you should just go back in the sunken place and stop bothering us.
No, stop it. We don't need. Kanye was a legend. Our homies on the Great Debate podcast just put him up there, excluding his political stance as one of the greatest producers of all time. And
yes.
That's the great GOAT podcast.
I miss Kanye.
He's talented, and
I miss him.
And have people miss him. He makes many comments about people referencing the old Kanye, so he knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know he does.
He's just slowly trying to get him there and bring him back to where we're at. So
that's why he trolling. Trolling us.
He may be trolling. He may be because he's dropping more albums. He's dropping more albums. He might be just trying to keep his name in the news. That may be one thing.
Oh yeah.
But man, we've had a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking about some more stuff on the Sunday Night Vibe podcast. You guys know, you should know by now to subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell a friend. We'll be back here next Sunday at 8:30. And until then, you can find us on every social media platform. Oh, forgot to say, you can find us. I know because you want to hear our angelic voices wherever you go, that you want to take us on Google, the Google Play Store, and let's see, Anchor is another place that you can find us. You can find us on wherever podcast. I'll just
iTunes.
We're still working on iTunes. iTunes is super podcast. So iTunes is the last place for us to get into. We're still waiting for us to get our approval. So soon. I know, again, our homies at the GOAT, it took them several weeks to get accepted into iTunes podcast because there's so many podcasts nowadays. But everywhere else, Google Play, Stitcher is a popular one. And again, you can just go to hoursofpods.com. We're going to try and keep that up to date with all the great podcasts that we have going on. Nadia, you got anything for the people before we check on out?
Once again, I thank you guys for tuning in. The support that we're getting is phenomenal, and I love it.
Clay? Huh? Clay? Oh God, you are so silly. No, this was a good podcast. I enjoyed it. So, hey, moral of the story: stop beefing with each other, guys. Like Rodney King said. Can we all just get along?
Can we all just sing a song?
Thank you.
All right, people. Next Sunday, 8:30-ish, right here on YouTube. Peace.